FlashFilm Academy's 2023 NAB coverage is brought to you by FlashFilm Academy. Be inspired, be creative, be profitable. Download our app today to get your free 3-day trial.
All right, so behind me we have the Hydra R Mini, which is a newer product, but it is about to be currently available for public orders. As you can see it kind of moving around, it is a camera crane system for smaller gimbals such as DJI Ronin RS3 RS2. It can fly up to Movi, potentially Ronin 2, but it does have a 22-pound payload, so we are kind of more catering this for smaller gimbals. The idea is that it is an accessible camera crane without any counterweight that can be built with 2 people on any vehicle. It can do full 360 in about 6 seconds. It's controlled via an included controller and a cabled connection, and it is designed to be relatively universal, relatively easy to use. It may not have some of the bells and whistles of some of the more advanced features or more advanced systems, but it does have all the features you need to kind of get up and running and kind of get the gimbal in the position that you need. It can go between around 35 and 75 miles per hour depending on what gimbal you're using, and it takes, when you're experienced, about 30 minutes to set up. For a lot of people to first learn, it's maybe around an hour. We have a lot of information on this online, and like I said, we're about to start shipping public orders after NAB, so you can imagine that there'll be a lot of test footage available soon. We have some available online, but it still has been a rather small private batch of units that have first shipped. And yeah, essentially this allows you to have access to some pretty complex camera crane movement without the price of renting a full-sized rig. So this can't carry the full weight of, like a U crane, but the day rate to rent a full system like that is closer to the full purchase price of this. So we're thinking this is really going to open up some possibilities, for music videos, indie filmmakers, anyone who has is already shooting on these smaller cameras and gimbals and has a very specific idea that can only be accomplished with a system like this.
Okay, quick question. How do you power it?
Yes, power. So it is powered off of a block battery. It does take 220 volts, meaning you need to use a power converter. We're using EcoFlow Deltas. They're about $1,300 US, which are not included, so that is another startup cost. And shipping itself is also around $1,000, so there are some additional costs included. The kit behind me with the speed rail mounting does start at $12,000, so the range of the system can be between maybe like 10 and 15, kind of all in all. But the power source, the EcoFlow Delta, provides some pretty high, wattage and can power it for about 20 hours or so. Again, it depends how much you're using the system, but when we take this on a shoot, we rarely ever use less than 50%. Theoretically, you could tap this into the battery on your vehicle if you have a high-end SUV that's had some modifications done on the battery. We have specifications online, tilta.com/Hydra R Mini if you're curious, and a lot more information in terms of some of the technical details as well.
Okay. As far as the type of vehicle it can be mounted to, is it a universal vehicle?
Yeah, so it's designed to be as universal as possible. There are some kit considerations. It's a bit more difficult to secure on smaller vehicles such as coupes. As you can see behind me, we have it on a vintage Ferrari, which is a 2-door. So not the most ideal vehicle to use, but it is possible. In general, you're going to want to use this on maybe like a mid-size to a compact SUV. Even a sedan would work pretty well. The total weight of the arm on the vehicle itself is only 175 pounds before the gimbal and camera, meaning most modern vehicles can support this amount of weight. And there also are some options in terms of hard mounting if you want to build a more permanent fixture. However, the kind of beauty, I think, of this system is that it is pretty versatile. We've put this on cars ranging from F-150s to the BMW i3, which is pretty much a slightly larger, smart car. So we think it has a lot of application and is compatible with most vehicles that people are already looking to use. And the benefit of being relatively universal is that you don't need to go and buy a specific specific vehicle to do arm work, which is in some cases, could be half the cost of, starting up a system like this.
Last but not least, does it come with all the shipping containers, all of the boxes to move it?
Yes, so it breaks down into 3 shipping containers that are actually weighted in a way that the total weight is about 210 pounds. Each case is about 70 pounds, and it's all packed in a way that allows you to check the entire system onto a commercial flight as oversized baggage. So you have to check with the specific airline. There's some airlines that have slightly smaller limits, but like I said, 70 pounds a case. That there are a decent amount of airlines that will allow you to fly with this for an additional fee per case. It generally can be a bit more expensive than just normal checked bags. However, given the shipping cost of shipping it across the country and the time it would take to arrive, you can get this to a lot of different places just by kind of taking it on with you in a commercial airline, which we think is pretty exciting because it opens up the the spaces that you can use a system like this, and I think makes more interesting locations more accessible.
Okay, last but not least, one more time, pricing and availability.
So like I said, starting at 10,000 US, the kit you see behind me with the speed rail mount is starting at 12,000, and this is currently available for pre-orders. I believe the current back order or pre-orders window is about 8 to 12 weeks for fulfillment. We are getting a pretty big batch of units right after NAB, so that should be changing, meaning keep an eye on our website for accurate information. And I believe resellers are going to be receiving these very soon, so B&H Adorama should be fulfilling these as well. And depending on if they've been taking orders, you may be able to get a unit a little bit sooner than that.
One last question: is there any limit on speed, on how fast you can go, or?
So speed, we recommend staying under 75 miles an hour, but it will depend on the gimbal you're using. Something like the RS3, which is a little bit smaller, depending on the camera you're using, is going to be more comfortable in the 35 mile an hour range, kind of your average car commercial speed, where if you're using Movi Pro or Ronin 2, you can definitely push that a little bit more, get closer to the 75, even 80 miles an hour. Essentially, the arm is secured in place with 2 very heavy-duty ratchet straps that are each rated for about 3,000 pounds. So the arm itself can handle a pretty good amount of force and speed. The issue is what you're kind of hanging on the end. So not only does that kind of factor in the gimbal weight, but also the camera you're using, the type of lens. Something like an A7 with a small lens on the RS3 can definitely go faster than the Komodo on the RS3, but maybe not as much as Ronin 2. So as long as the payload, like I said, is under 22 pounds, it'll fly on this, but the same considerations will have to be made as if you were just holding, your gimbal out the window. Like wind is going to have a major factor, the balance, the position of where it is, whether it's taking on headwind directly or if it's kind of, in the back of the vehicle. But in general, 35 to 75 is what we're recommending.
Okay, perfect. I want to thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you like content like this, click the link on the screen and go over to FlashFilmAcademy.com. We have a membership that will give you access to 300+ hours of content designed to help you grow your business. That's all we talk about. Click that link, start your trial. We even have premium courses, contracts, and templates, all for the business side of this industry. You can go somewhere else to learn how to take pretty pictures, but when you're ready to get that bag, when you're ready to do this for a living, that's where FlashFilm Academy comes into play. All right, see you in the next video.